Hi, my name's Jakato,
Hi, my name's Jardel.
and you're watching Talk Talking Talk. And today you're watching Talk Talking Talk Tuah. This is the podcast where we talk about the podcast Talking Talk Tuah, and we give you our analysis and reactions, and go in depth on the feelings that these two guys have about the Talk Tuah podcast and how we feel about that.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to note, too, that we were both licensed psychologists. So going forward, we'll be giving our in-depth...
Not licensed psychologists.
We're almost licensed psychologists. We're in the process of becoming licensed psychologists.
We're just not licensed.
Yeah, in a way, we're kind of your guys on the inside, okay? Anything that happens on the show, you're going to hear it here second.
Yeah.
Because first you're going to hear it on Talk Tuah,
Yeah.
and then we're going to be dissecting it here, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so from us, you're going to be hearing it third.
Yeah, and you know, just to kind of hash on to what he said too, like, you know, add to it, he is absolutely right. Like she's inspiring to us all, obviously. We wouldn't be here doing this if it wasn't for the work that she put in.
Yeah, I mean, like, just look at what she's been able to snowball here. You know, just that one clip of her going viral has sparked a podcast for her. It sparked a podcast for Peter and Sam, and it sparked a podcast for us.
Yeah, and it's just
she's creating jobs, really.
Yeah, she's actually raising percentage-wise the U.S. economy, like 100%. Like she's at least a 400% increase to the U.S. economy.
We should address the elephant in the room. You may recognize us from our past effort of Beast Pod Official. It was journalism that I think we're proud of. But
all right, I think we should dive into this. So if you were to take a quick glance at the Talking Talk Tuah YouTube channel, I think the first thing you'd notice is that the episodes aren't actually the first thing that they made. They had a podcast where they reacted to Mr. Beast episodes. While I think that's a little bit interesting, I feel like it shows a lack of direction in where they wanted to go with their show. As you can see, it didn't do quite as well as their Talking Talk Tuah did. But I feel like they really captured lightning in a bottle with their new show. I haven't watched any of the Mr. Beast episodes, but considering it's Mr. Beast content, I wouldn't expect it to be very good.
Yeah, no, you know, they're just kind of trying to find, just making content to make content. But, you know, although that's like fine and dandy, I think this format and this content that they're able to dissect really showcases their ability to articulate themselves and break down deep, important, meaningful concepts.
Yeah, so while I do feel like it shows a lack of direction for the show initially, it definitely still shows that they've got the passion for the content that they're creating in terms of they enjoy making the content regardless of the format or the topics at hand. And I question whether or not that actually brings into question their want and their essentially their interest in the podcast in general, the Talk Tuah podcast. Maybe it signifies that this wasn't their this isn't their passion. Well, what's your take on that?
One time I farted really hard.
She's moving past it. So guys, we ask that you be as respectful as we are here.
Yeah.
It's a sensitive thing. We don't want to see comments about Talk Tuah spitting on that thing.
Yeah, come on, guys.
There's a lot of stuff to comment on.
Yeah.
That is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Okay.
She made this request herself in this first episode. She's more than that.
Yeah.
And I think
that's a great point that Peter made there. I think that what we lose sight of in these moments is that she's a human being and that she's more than just what we know her for. She's a young woman with dreams and aspirations, and I think it would be disingenuous of us to try to put her in a box and define who she is when she can do that on her own.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, at the end of the day, just people aren't only one instance. Like, you may know someone who shit their pants right next to you, and it's like, you know, in the moment you're like, that's fucking gross and I don't like you and I wish you were dead. But it's like that's someone's brother, that's someone's son, you know, like that's someone's
I can recall the time that I shit my pants, and I just knew that everybody was judging me, and they probably were. But hopefully over time, people start to view you as more than just a pants shitter.
It takes a unique person to be able to lead the conversation in the room.
Yeah.
She knows when to maybe back off. First guest here,
powerhouse talent comedian Whitney Cummings.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, Whitney was one of I don't even know. I think technically there were 3 other people besides Haileys on camera in this episode.
She had her friend Chelsea and her, I want to say manager Jordan.
Jamie. Yeah, so there were 3 other,
I think that's a little important to delve into. The fact that Sam couldn't remember the name of the manager, Jamie. I feel like that might signify a lack of importance in Sam's eyes of Jamie's role in the operation.
I think it was a unique insight that they had about like how Haileys is able to guide the conversation and really be the anchor and the captain of the ship pretty much.
I think she fills in a great role of being able to be a focal point in the show, because we are here to listen to Haileys, but to still also have a good dialogue with the guests who think that they're as important as she is. And I think that she plays sort of like a Joe Rogan role, but with a little bit more personality and a little bit more height.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's like, I've listened to a lot of Joe Rogan, but at some point you got to realize, like, you're watching a bald dude. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, would you rather watch a bald dude or like a hot blonde chick? You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly. Although I do need to say that we, as hot as Haileys is, as big as her DSLs are, I think that it's still important to remember that she's a person who's
100%.
She got quite a few clips aimed at her, trying to knock her down.
And can we say how just difficult that is? It's your first podcast.
Yeah.
Haileys' first podcast.
I think we should get into that as well. So I think Peter is more of the lead on this podcast. But I felt it was a little strange the way Sam felt that he could interject and kind of cut off Peter in his on his analysis of this. Maybe it signifies a rift between the two, or maybe it signifies such a strong bond that they feel like they can kind of just engage off of the way each other are talking.
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty good insight, because when you said how he tried to cut off Peter, I immediately thought of Lorena Bobbitt. So yeah, it must signify something.
Back for hooks.
No. Mm-hmm. I mean, just from this episode alone, we get the incredible Poochie Banyana.
She says Poochie Banyana referring to your...
Out of nowhere, because Whitney's talking about getting Botox in your armpit to prevent sweating, but it has to come out from somewhere. And Haileys just like a flash in the pan goes, Poochie Banyana?
Yeah, she comes in with these
I did that no justice.
I was just about to say,
Yo, Poochie Banyana?
Yeah. It was more.
I think Sam did a better job on that one.
Whitney was saying, but Haileys came in with a fucking banger. She was like, Erwan, that's crock pot.
So that's the first instance we've heard of either of them cursing on the podcast.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Right. Yeah. Right there, it lets us know the the maturity level of the people in the podcast. That's not to say that I don't want to put them in a box the way some people try to, Haileys Welsh, but it seems as though the maturity level on Sam isn't quite where Peter's is at, although we will see in the future maybe Peter does also engage in the same sort of explicit banter.
Pookie was the secret star. Now, if you're not as familiar with Haileys' work or life, Pookie is a person that she's seeing back in Nashville, not dating. I don't want to say dating because she was a little pissed off this episode that Pookie has not taken her on dates.
Yeah.
She backtracked that and she said he did take her on a date.
Yeah. To Taco Bell. Which,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know how everyone out there feels about Taco Bell. I think it's great.
Do we consider
Yeah. I'm going to have to concur with Peter on that one. I feel like a lot of people might be judgmental in the fact that Haileys got taken by Pookie to Taco Bell on a date, because personally, I think Taco Bell's amazing. I think it's one of my favorite fast foods. I mean, it'll leave you worse for wear on the shitter, but I mean, like it's an exquisite meal. I mean, it might not be the most expensive or the most lavish, fancy place out there, and I feel like a lot of people might take that as the the face value of it. But personally, maybe Haileys just such a huge fan of Taco Bell that that's exactly what she wanted. I mean, I didn't catch on to that part in the episode, but
Yeah, and I think it's important to really hammer that point home, because it's like, it's a matter of taste. There's a reason why that saying exists, and you don't need gold shavings on a fucking taco to make it not a, it's a taco. Like who doesn't like a taco? Like I don't know. I feel like
maybe I'm reading too much into it, but given that Hailey is a Southern queen, maybe there's just a familiarity with Hispanic food, being that they're closer to the Mexican border. Maybe that's just something they're more accustomed to, and that's maybe just a little bit more common around there. So it might not be as fancy to them as maybe to us Northerners.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point.
The date. If he's paying for her and they're truly enjoying themselves, laughing, being together, I think anything could be a date. It doesn't even need the train.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm a pig, but I think Taco Bell is just a date on its own. Like, even without any extra romance or
So
portion.
whenever there's chalupas around,
I think there's
room
love in
for
the air.
intimacy.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's a great point. If you take me to Taco Bell and you get me a party pack, I mean, my mouth is yours.
Absolutely. I'm not sure if you guys actually know this, because I'm pretty sure it was a limited time item, but there was something called the naked chicken chalupa. Okay, it was a taco where the taco shell was made out of fried chicken. You can't tell me that's not gourmet.
I mean, like, yeah, if I got taken out on a date and a girl got me a naked chicken chalupa, I might just bend the knee right there.
Yeah, something's getting bent.
Well, okay, so here's the thing with Pookie. What do we know so far?
He's a construction worker.
He works construction. That means in Nashville, guys, he's either filling potholes, building bridges.
What this discussion really highlights is how real of a person Hailey really is. Like, she didn't let the fame change her. She didn't let anything stop her from going for a normal guy. At least a somewhat normal guy. Obviously he's not completely normal, because he's winning.
Yeah,
but
he's getting that hawk too. I mean, I think that's a valid critique of mine. I mean, I would cut off the toes on my left foot for that. But I think that what's your thoughts on Peter and Sam being very focused on Pookie as opposed to the actual podcast that we're here to talk about? Now, I know they discussed him on the podcast, but I didn't think that it took up that much of a time that it would take out a good 4 minutes out of a 27-minute episode.
Yeah, I think it stems from a deep.
That's how I saw it.
It could be jealousness. I don't want to necessarily project my jealousness on, because, like, I too was interested in the Pookie.
Right. Yeah. I can't pretend like I didn't also share a similar interest in trying to figure out who that mystery man is, because, I mean, well, she's in a very important part of all of our lives. I mean, she practically employs us at this point. So of course I want to know who her love interest is. What if he's, maybe trying to shy her away from this business? What if he is controlling, or, like, we have to watch out for our boss.
Absolutely. And it's also important to know who it is, because I need to know if it's like a small Danny DeVito built dude, or if it's like a 9-foot NBA player, and how much chloroform I'm going to have to put on the rag so that I can take him out back and
he seems
swap
like
bodies with him.
Set guy. He seems like a heavier set guy. I think I could get away with shaving my facial hair to look similar to his.
Mhm.
I think I would have to hit the gym a little bit more before I engage in that, just because he is a little bit of a bigger guy. I think she might notice a difference. But maybe she wouldn't if I only pulled my pants down and didn't take my shirt off.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility of a one that cannot be slept on. We're talking at least 8.5 Snickers bar vein. Like, there's a lot to work with there. Yeah, we're talking like Coke can circumference.
I mean, it's great that we were able to pick up on the party animal tattoo, because now I know kind of what I need to get to be able to kind of slip into his life.
Absolutely. Honestly, I'm glad that that's there, because what that tells us is that I could just give him any scentless white powder, and he'll just believe that it's something he can take. And if that's the case, then I have a real chance of covering myself in baby powder to look like him.
He lives in Nashville, but
Yep.
she's probably moving out here.
I think she's bi-coastal.
Okay.
Is Nashville on the coast? It's a little bit more inland, I
It's
guess.
a little landlocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think she's making a bit of a move to LA. We'll see if
I feel like that's very
follows.
telling
I don't
of
know if it's gonna-
maybe the sort of formal education of Peter. He was assuming that Tennessee or Nashville was a coastal city, but I think anyone with half a brain would know that it isn't. So I think maybe his geography class got canceled or something. I don't know, man. It shows a lack of preparation overall.
Yeah, I'm sorry you guys saw me leaning on the camera right there. I had a huge fart I had to release. But I think that is important to note because I failed grade 9 applied geography. Applied is essentially like the worst version of the normal version. So basically like, a slower version. And I passed with a 50 because my teacher allowed me to do my final project 2 weeks late. So I can definitely sympathize with him here, and I can tell that he messed up. I'm an expert on messing up with geography, and he messed up.
I mean, like I had geography 4th period, so right after lunch, and I would smoke weed every lunch and then go to class and not pay attention whatsoever. And I actually knew that Nashville wasn't on the list. So I think Peter has a little bit of reading up to do.
There was a moment in which Hailey kind of showed that she has more things going for her than maybe even Whitney does. Whitney started the
Wow.
about how
That's an interesting take.
I mean,
That's an interesting take.
Cummings is a very well established and well known
Very.
comedian in the industry. So to make I wouldn't say assumption, because I think it might be a valid point that maybe Hailey has already surpassed that one episode into her podcast is an interesting take. I wouldn't say I necessarily disagree with it. I guess I just haven't really thought of it from that lens.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to just give an educated guess on it, I would say that that's not the case. Like, I don't think that she's past Whitney. Whitney has put over a decade of work in a very tough industry, especially for women. So, I guess if we're just talking overall viewership, maybe recently, but in terms of establishing yourself, I feel like it's a little bit different.
Yeah, I would kind of see it sort of like a Michael Jordan, LeBron situation where Whitney Cummings, she's been in the industry for over a decade. She's been performing year after year. But then you get somebody like Hailey Welch who comes in and just shatters the backboard. It's really just like, she's like the Michael Jordan of it. And I mean, if you ask me, Michael Jordan is better than LeBron James. So I would personally maybe put Hailey above.
I think a lot of people would be nervous to tell a Southern woman that, hey, I'm a cougar. This is who I am.
Yeah.
I'm coming out to you. I'm into what I'm into.
Yeah.
Please don't shame me. Please still accept me and love me for who I am. Hailey, I don't even think it.
That's an interesting point. I've never looked at the dynamic of being a cougar from the cougar's lens. I never really, maybe it's because I'm a guy. I never really looked into the situation of like how a cougar would feel in that situation, and that maybe that's frowned upon naturally because, I'm not the biggest MILF fan, but I can understand it. So I think that there's no shame in that, but maybe in the dynamic of how another girl would feel towards you, that would have an issue. So I think Sam's got a little bit of a point there.
Yeah, no, I would imagine it's difficult in some regards because, especially like, it depends on a lot of different factors. But let's say, you're like, I don't know, late 40s or something, right? And then you have like a kid that's in high school or whatever. Their kids' friends are all gonna try you.
Right.
Like that's gonna happen. Like that's not avoidable.
I guess I thought of it from that lens, but that's definitely a very solid point. I mean, in middle school, I had a friend, not going to mention their name, but they had a very hot mom, and if she had tried anything on me, I would have gone for it, and I couldn't imagine that my friend would be too happy about that. So I guess maybe in that regard, there is a sort of a silent shame in being a MILF. I mean, in being a cougar.
And I don't mean to sound stereotypical, but I do feel like maybe it's tougher for a cougar to connect with people from the South. I think there might be some deep-seated prejudices against Cougars, and I applaud Hailey.
Maybe personally, I mean, we're not from the States, but maybe I just haven't read into the history of that, but I didn't know there had been a sort of conflict between the Cougars in the South.
Yeah, I didn't know that could just be kind of a cultural divide. We're from Canada, so it's definitely a possibility.
On my American history.
Yeah, maybe I don't. That's surprising to hear.
I mean, it's not exactly a Cougar, but Florida's hockey team is the Florida Panthers. I thought they would. That's kind of like a nod, showing a little bit of respect. But maybe they're talking more like Southwest.
I mean, look, the thing is, people who. Okay, I'm all for street interviews.
Yeah, of course.
I think when they're outside of like college bars or places where we're definitely drunk, and then they're filming, and they want to do these gotcha moments.
It's a bit exploited.
It is exploited because
it's an interesting predicament that we have there.
Yeah, so I would like to. Yeah, I would love to. I really commend Sam and Peter for bringing to light a situation that is a lot more exploitative than I had ever pictured in my head. I kind of viewed that sort of content as maybe not the most intelligent or just like the not exploitative by nature, but now I realize that it is, and I think that might be the highlight of the episode. That's sort of a Vince Carter 360 windmill dunk on that whole industry.
Mm-hmm.
Colored liquids. I think she said
that they would make her want to fight a grizzly. Red wine would
make her hump a couch.
But most importantly, cinnamon whiskey.
I mean, Whitney made some joke about like she'd be able to see Hailey participating in a January 6th.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, and I thought
that was a bone too far from me.
I think that they're definitely right about Hailey not being somebody who would participate in January 6th. And my main reasoning for that is there was a lot of footage and pictures that were taken at the time, actually by people, from January 6th.
All the women there were old, ugly bitches.
Exactly my point, actually. There's a lot of old, gremlin-looking golem motherfuckers there. Like I'm talking nipple hair, armpit hair, like really, really grotesque shit.
Yeah, I am just quickly going to take a glance at Hailey Welch's Instagram.
Me too. Quickly.
Does she not have an Instagram? Is she shadow banned? That would be a crazy revelation. I can't find her Instagram. Am I spelling Hailey wrong? There's no way. I know her well enough. It's because she goes by Hay Welsh. I forgot about that. So I'm actually just going to take a quick look at her following list and see if so she does still follow Whitney Cummings. So I think that right there is the smoking gun to say that Hailey didn't feel any sort of type of way about the situation.
Sorry, what? I was too busy taking a quick look at Hailey's Instagram.
Yeah, just a quick look and a quick screenshot.
Yeah.
So I was just saying that I checked her following list, and she still follows Whitney Cummings. So I think that's the smoking gun to be able to say she didn't take this as personally as Peter and Sam are.
Yeah.
So
if you guys do want to see a 3-hour feature film on us talking about that one instance, leave a comment down below. And let us know that. If you want to hear us talk about January 6th and Hailey for 3 hours and Whitney Cummings, then
we're all for the people, man. Like if we get even one comment saying that you'd be interested in us hearing that or in hearing us talk about it like that, we'll make a 3-hour documentary on it.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, like top comment on this video, I'll name my firstborn son that. I will name my firstborn son that.
Okay, so we have a little bit of a prize pool going on here. You know what? I'll throw it in that I will name my firstborn daughter that. So our kids will have the same name.
Yeah. Whatever you guys want it to be down there.
Yeah.
At one point in this episode, he asked her friend Chelsea, "Oh, do you wish you said Talk Tuah that night and you'd be sitting where she is?" Fuck you.
Earlier in the episode, I was critiquing the sort of jabs that Sam was taking towards Jamie, the manager. But I guess I kind of forgot about the fact that I didn't really read into the situation as though he was sort of trying to sow discord between Hailey and Chelsea. That's a very valid point, and I think I'm kind of siding with Sam a little bit more on that one.
Yeah, earlier on in the episode, I farted. It stunk really bad.
If I were to have any
Yeah.
critiques, they implemented a handheld camera
Yeah.
in this podcast. Usually podcasts are filmed with locked off shots on tripods.
It was a bit shaky.
Yeah.
I don't know if the camera.
Yeah, I saw clips about that.
Monocle.
Yeah. It seems as though the cameraman was the guy who filmed the Blair Witch Project, because his camera movements were very shaky and not very stable for what you'd expect from a camera guy.
Yeah, no, at first I thought that, but then I looked into the casting credits, and it was Michael J. Fox apparently.
Oh, that would make
Mhm.
a lot more sense.
Yeah.
That is a sad. That's a sad revelation. I was originally going to guess Muhammad Ali, but apparently he passed like 6 years ago. So it wasn't him. But yeah, Michael J. Fox makes complete sense. I mean, if you look at Talking Talk Tuah, Sam and Peter, they have a stable camera more than Hailey did. But I've heard, I haven't tapped into it just yet. But from what I've seen, they fired the camera guy and they went with a stable camera.
Yeah, I think that was the right move. Michael's, getting old. He just wants to kind of relax now. And even if that has to be out of a cardboard box at the side of Denny's, I think it's the right direction for him to go. He can't keep doing this.
I mean, he can't even take my order at the previously mentioned Taco Bell because his writing is just so shaky.
Yeah.
Last time to give me a Big Mac when I went.
Poor guy, man. I asked him for an autograph. It was like an EKG machine.
I almost wonder if Mr. Paul, whose network it is,
Jake Paul,
is just more about like, oh, people only want to see the Tuah. People don't want to see the name. Listen, buddy.
Dude, he'd be a moron to do that.
Well, and buddy, without the name, you don't get the Tuah.
No,
That's an interesting point they made about how it's cut off the Hawk to or the Talk Tuah, excuse me, the Talk Tuah signage in the back, and how it only said Tuah, because if you notice, it actually did the exact same thing with their flag up here. So I think it's a little bit hypocritical for Sam to take that stance when they didn't exactly check their shot either. I mean, if you look at it, there's a bunch of space at the bottom where you could have just tilted the camera more upward. I don't think we need to see the bottom of their couch. So I feel like, we could have maybe thought about that a little more before making that comment, because they made the exact same mistake. And
do you think that
it's a human error?
Do you believe that was intentional? Because honestly, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, that could be a reference.
That could kind of.
Yeah, because hold on.
It could be a nod to the meta irony, I feel like.
Yeah, because look, right at the beginning, it was in full view. And then right afterwards, they cut to, maybe it was a foreshadow. Okay, so I guess between the two scenarios, if it was an accident, it was a massive blunder on their side. But if it was a meta irony reference, then I think they did such a
phenomenal
good
job.
I had no clue that it was irony.
Yeah, absolutely. That's some Stanley Kubrick shit.
Imbalances like that are.
Oh, did you see that?
No.
Or I know.
Oh, this might be a little bit of a blunder on their part here. You can see two individuals walking in the background.
That's kind of exploitative, kind of like the people that wait outside bars. People.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, obviously, I'm not an expert, but I don't think that they had one of their crew members run outside and get the consent forms for them to be able to film, to be in the film. But again, I'm not a lawyer, but I would argue that maybe because they're on private property, they don't need the permission of them to be on the film.
I think it might even go further than that. I think that those might have been crew members, and that this is another meta irony nod.
Oh,
kind of.
my God.
Yeah, 'cause I think it could be a callback.
Have I fallen for it twice now?
I think we have.
Wow. Okay. I mean, if this is all intentional, then I think we're in the Matrix.
Yeah.
This might be the
Black Hat.
This is the second best podcast ever. I number one obviously being Talk Tuah, but
I mean, welcome everyone to Talking Talk Tuah.
Yeah.
We're so excited to be covering Talk Tuah, and we hope you'll join us for the next episode.
Click like and subscribe on that thang.
And if you, like Hailey offered, if you take a picture of yourself watching our podcast and caption it #Talking Talk Tuah, tag us in it, and name a guest you'd like to see, we will try to have an episode with that guest.
If we can, we will.
Maybe Bill Maher.
I'd love to talk history of Bill Maher, talk
Yeah.
some Mary Beard, SBQR.
I mean, we heard that
Genghis.
Hailey got to talk to Bill Maher about history. I mean, I love history. I'd love to talk to Hailey about history. If Hailey ever wants to come on here,
If Hailey, you want to come on our show, you'd be welcome anytime. And until then, we'll be covering your work. So thank you. And guys, stay tuned for the next one. Bye-bye.
bye.
All right, guys, that was Talk Talking Talk Tuah. We're so glad to be talking Talk Tuah while they're talking Talk Tuah. So,
Right, so I would just like to end this episode by saying Hawk Tuah talking about spitting on that thing.
also, I would like to just quickly note that I would like to see Dennis Rodman on their podcast next. I think that'd make for a very interesting and dynamic episode. And yeah, that's Jardel.
That's I mean, yeah, I know that you personally would like to see Dennis Rodman. I was thinking, well, OJ's dead now. I was thinking maybe
That's hilarious. I'll leave it that is.
maybe Lil Wayne, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's our podcast, man. Thank you for watching Thank you for watching Talk Talking Talk Tuah.
Yeah, we love being Talking Talk Tuah and watching Talking Talk Tuah, Talk Tuah. So thank you guys. And don't forget, my firstborn son, top comment.
Right. Yep. And my firstborn daughter.
All right. Signing out. Jardel, peace.